Ever wondered what your flight attendants are really talking about behind the galley curtain?
Welcome to Two Guys on a Plane, your go-to podcast for an insider look at flight attendant life.
We're your hosts, Rich and Drew, and we're here to tell you what really goes on at 35,000 feet.
So sit back, relax, we're ready for takeoff.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Two Guys on a Plane. We are so excited to have you here for this episode. Today, we are going to answer the age-old question, to solo travel or not to solo travel. As you guys know, we've recently started doing some group trips, and honestly, we weren't sure about it when we first started doing it. I think both of us were a little hesitant. You know, what is a group trip? What is the group dynamic going to be like? And it turned out to be kind of an epic layover, but it's definitely a topic that we love discussing and we love kind of talking back and forth because there's definitely pros and cons to both. So we are going to talk about that today on our episode. But first, Andrew, how's flying going lately?
Oh my God. It has been crazy. I know I say this every time, but it has literally been insane this week. I bid the mid cabin position. And
so the most people
position of all of the positions on the airplane. I was sitting on the jump seat the other day, ready for takeoff, and this guy is just staring at me. And I was like, do something. Get your book out. Like, why are you staring at me? He sat there for the entire flight with nothing. He brought nothing with him. He just sat there and stared at me.
He was raw dogging it.
Yes. It creeped me out so much. And it's not like you can ask him if he's a serial killer, because that was my gut reaction was to be like,
Well, I think he's obviously a serial killer.
Well,
and
yes.
you don't ask a serial killer if they're a serial killer, because you'll be one of the next ones.
Yes. But also, you don't ask somebody who's crazy why they're crazy either.
No,
and I wasn't going to point it out to him, but like, do you have a book? Do you have headphones?
Magazine?
Is there
something to do?
Should you sleep now?
Can you please stop staring at me?
Yeah. It was like 2 hours of just staring at me.
I really don't understand people that do that. I mean, on some level, like, I understand sitting there and kind of just being with your thoughts and kind of soaking it all in. The people doing that don't look like they're doing that. They look like they're plotting murder.
Okay, and when I'm sitting with you, it's fine. Like, I get that we're sitting face to face.
Right.
Like, you don't have a lot of other places to look. But, like, every time I walked by, we were staring at Andrew. And I was like, either give me your phone number or close your eyes and take a nap, because I'm over this. It was so creepy to me. So creepy.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah. What about you? How's flying been for Rich?
Flying for me has been... I said this a couple weeks ago, and I think I'm just kind of on a winning streak lately with good crews. I know I'm jinxing myself, but
Knock on something.
I'm due for like a crap trip. It's coming, you guys. I know it, because I'm like, it's like when you have KCM and like you don't get randomed at security for so long.
And
you're
then
like,
for
I know,
4 weeks, it's like every time you go, they're like,
you know you're gonna get it. That's how I feel like it's gonna happen this summer with crews. I'm just gonna hit this like shit wave of just crazy people. But luckily, my trips have been good lately.
Please don't do that to him. If you see Rich on your trip, please be nice to him this summer, because I cannot handle him coming home griping about you. I can't do it.
Yeah, so I got lucky. I just had this actually amazing trip to Paris. The crew was great. We had a really nice time working together. Nobody really wanted to hang out on the layover. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing.
You're in Paris. You don't need anyone to hang out with you.
Exactly.
Grab a mini split and run to the Eiffel Tower and have a great time.
Paris is one of those cities wandering alone is like magic. But in typical flight attendant fashion, I started my layover at the grocery store, as one does. And I, of course...
not just for him. It's more for me. He does it for me.
It is an act of love. I went and stocked up on French butter. And for those of you that don't know, Mom, we always go to the grocery store in Paris and we stock up on French butter.
Oh, Mom knows, because she tries to get you to bring it home for her, too.
It is a superior butter, and I used to make fun of senior flight attendants for doing this, and I've become that girl, and I do not care. It's so good. So anyways... To get to the point of the story, I was in this grocery store, hunched over this like dairy case, like just stocking up. I think I got like 10 or 12 sticks of butter, and I'm like sweating because it was kind of warm that day, and I just like don't look great, and I'm hunched over and I've just got an armful of butter, and I just hear, "Two guys on a plane." Is that you?
I could just picture it. You look
the visual is strong. Yeah, me and an armful of butter being like, "Who? Me?" And I mean, you can't deny it at that point. And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And of course, it was a crew from WestJet, a Canadian airline.
Oh, fun.
And we ended up hanging out on this layover and having
even
like the
more fun.
Best time. Yeah, it was the funniest, just like totally weird situation where they
I
were
love this so
talking,
much.
and I was like, what are you guys doing later? And like they had a girl on their trip that was like brand new, and it was her first time, and we just had so much fun just out and about,
Wow. I love
bouncing
this.
cafe to cafe and just having a magical time. So
Listen,
I've been really lucky lately
I'm
with
so
good
mad
trips.
at you right now.
Why?
I get some serial killer who's like for 2 hours, and you get some
Yeah.
awesome experience with some other airline in Paris.
Yeah. Andrew, how's your day? I had a serial killer. Rich, how's your day? I had a magical day in Paris. We do not live the same life.
We don't. We really don't.
And
And,
yet-
this is why
Yeah.
we're here.
And yet the flight attendant job is still
It's so magical.
just such an interesting, magical place. But anyways, we're going to get into it today. We're going to talk about solo travel and group travel. And that before we started doing group travel, I really was one of those people who was like, group travel is not for me. I think I just had some like weird experiences in college where it was like, you know, people you didn't really know or really like or vibe with, like end up on a group trip together. We should start calling that a troop. And we just you don't
Typo. Start
yeah
again.
typo start again. Exactly. We it just ended up, I don't know, with a weird vibe. And then we kind of took a chance last year. We planned a trip to Bali. We had people ranging from ages 20 to 71 or something like that. And you think, well, gosh, I don't know about this. And then you get there and you're like, okay, the people that follow Two Guys in a Plane are probably going to be funny people who
Yeah.
like to have a good time. So
You
yeah.
hope that's what's showing up.
Right, exactly. So that's what we did, and it was fantastic. So we decided to do it again. But yeah, before that, solo travel for me was always like, okay, I can do my own schedule. I can, you know, wake up when I want. I can go places when I want. I have nobody to answer to. And I think I always really liked solo travel for that reason. What about you? How do you feel about solo travel?
Okay, when I say solo travel, though, I mean like me and a significant other. So like you and I
Right.
feel like that's what I consider solo travel. I don't do a lot like just on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really adventurous like that. I should be. I will be. I promise at some point. But for me, solo travel is like with a significant other. So
Right.
all of my solo travel has been with you. And I enjoy it a lot. I'm not your typical traveler. I have been spoiled with flight benefits for a long portion of my life.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people like save up to go places as like a dream vacation. This is the only time I'm ever going to be here. And because I've had flight benefits for so long, I'm like, oh, I can come back next week if I want. So like, I don't need to do anything while I'm traveling. Like we go, I have an expectation of like one or two things that I
Right.
want to see, but otherwise my day is filled with like cafes and patios and parks and just really leisurely bumming around and doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
So the idea of group travel really scared me because I didn't want a
For
schedule
sure.
because I don't travel like anyone else. I don't do anything. I don't need to do anything.
You do things.
I
some
do things, but I don't need to do any things. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you travel with certain people and like the whole day is planned. Your
Right.
whole day is planned away. They're like, we have breakfast at 9 a.m. at this cafe. We're going to go to this museum and that museum. And we're going to go to this and that and this and that. And then, you know, I don't travel that way.
No, 'cause
I like
I-
wake up at
yeah.
noon and I'm like, should we go to a cafe today? There's an art museum I wanted to see or
Right.
a library. Do you remember that day we spent like half a day in a library because it was just a magical experience?
Wait, what library?
The one in Budapest.
Don't remember
You don't remember?
this. Wait, what library?
I don't remember, but it was
The one that was a bar?
Was it a bar?
We went to a place that
Is
kind of
that
looked
why I
like a
feel like we
library.
spent all day there?
Yeah, we're very intellectual, literary people. We're over here like, we're in this library. I think it was a bar.
Okay, fine. It was a bar.
I'm going to have to think more about this because I don't
Where was
actually
it?
remember
It wasn't Budapest. I lied. It wasn't Budapest. But there was somewhere where we went that we spent like 5 hours of our day just in a library.
That's so funny.
It was like some old house that they converted to a library, and it was just beautiful. No, it was Greece. That's where it was. The library was in Greece, and I'm going to have to find it now, but I remember spending a lot of time in it. But that's the traveler that I am. So
We'll have to report back to you guys on that because I have no recollection of this place. Apparently, I thought we were in a bar. So who
we
knows?
probably were. There probably was one there because that's what we do.
That's definitely like a flip side for solo travel, though, is like as fun as it is sometimes to kind of go at your own pace. sometimes I need a little bit of a schedule to like force me to do something, because part of me really wants to like live like a local and visit a place like a local and go sit in a cafe and go to a restaurant or a hole in the wall or a stroll just leisurely through the city. And then part of me is like, I want to run around and do 100 things and see all the tourist stuff and see all the monuments and the things people talk about, because you know, you want to feel like you've really been there and you've really experienced it all too.
Yes.
So I definitely go back and forth on that.
But then there's this story that you have about that Airbnb that one time that just terrifies me, and it lives in the back of my brain. And so
I think this is, so are you talking about the
birthday trip that you took?
The mattress on the floor. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys are hotel people or Airbnb people. We're a little bit of both, I would say. We definitely like to mix it up. And feel free to DM us or comment and let us know what you think about this, because some people are very much into Airbnbs and some people are not. And after this trip, you would think I wouldn't have been anymore.
This story lives rent-free in my brain every time we go to book an Airbnb.
You're making it sound like it's that like Hostel movie or something. But we basically, it was my friend Linda and I. It wasn't quite solo travel, but we were new hire flight attendants. We had no money. And she's like, oh, I found this Airbnb in Switzerland. It's only like 40 francs a night or something. And you don't know anything about Switzerland. And I'm like, that seems reasonable. And I mean, Switzerland, everything is super expensive. So the 40 francs a night or whatever it was should have been probably a major red flag, but it wasn't for some reason. And so we get there and it's like a 2-bedroom apartment, and this little old lady who chain smokes, like, opens the door and she's like, hello. I'm not even going to try to do an accent actually, because I'm going to ruin it. But I was like, oh, are we like interrupting this lady? Are we at the wrong address? And Linda's like, oh, it's a shared space Airbnb. And I was like, a shared who what now? I don't think that this is for me. But also, again, I'm a broke new hire. I don't have any money. So I'm like, I don't know if this is really a good idea or not. But we end up, Linda and her bonded, of course. They're both smoking and just having a great time, like hanging out in the kitchen, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes. She shows us to our bedroom, and it's literally just this like empty room with these 2 red mattresses on the floor. And there were sheets, but the mattresses reminded me of those, like, you know, in preschools when they have those like little folded up mats that like lay out for kids to nap on. That's what it looked and felt like.
Why do you think this lives rent free? Every time I book an Airbnb, I'm like, no shared spaces, please.
Oh, I have serious trust issues now. But and then the dog. There was a dog. I forget. It had like a weird little Italian name too. Like I don't even. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't remember what the dog's name was. Why am I blanking on what it was?
Right.
But
important facts.
Like little mafia dog, but like literally would just run up and just bite your shin and then be like and just attack you. So it was an experience. I went back to Switzerland. Turned out I loved it when I went and got my own accommodations. But yeah, so I could see why people are skeptical of solo travel. Do you have any like crazy solo-ish travel stories that you can think of?
Oh, you remember that time we almost got murdered in Greece?
Okay.
We did.
We didn't almost get murdered
sure did.
in Greece.
We didn't know until afterwards, though, but we almost got murdered in Greece.
Well, we might actually be accomplices is really what it comes down to. So maybe we shouldn't air this episode. But do tell us what happened.
Well, you remember we had this lovely Airbnb in
Mykonos.
And the owner was driving us to our boat to move on to the next city. And we were thanking her for the accommodations. And she was like, oh, yes, Mykonos. It's a lovely city. You can be so free here. It's one of the best cities in Greece. And we
Christina.
were like, really? We loved
her name was
your
Christina,
Airbnb.
and she was just this like magical little woman.
She was beautiful. It was so nice. And we were thanking her for allowing us to stay in the property. And she was like, yes, my husband and I built it together. We built a house for me, a house for him, and a house for our daughter. And we were like, oh, we met your daughter. It was a beautiful property. We met your daughter. We noticed that the two of you share it. And she was like, yes, we do. My husband died as the last nail was being put on the final building. His ladder just fell and he fell down the cliff to his death. And we were like, what? She was like, yes, I was there. I watched the whole thing. We were like, what?
She said it so nonchalantly to us too, like while we were driving up this massive hill. And she was like, yes, these 3 homes. And then they took many months. And my husband, he worked so hard. And she was just like So, like, how
And now I'm
dedicated
free
this
to
man
live the
was.
whole the
Right.
life that I want to live.
Yep.
And Mykonos is so free and so beautiful. You should move here. You'll love it. We were like,
Yeah,
no,
maybe if we
thank
stay
you,
on
though."
your good side, Christina.
Right. Don't ask us to build anything for
Yeah.
you.
So weird that as the last nail was put in and the project was complete, he fell down the hill off the ladder. Like, it was just one of those things where we were like, story's a little too convenient, Christina. You're leaving out some details.
You're leaving out a lot for us.
Where's your husband?
Right. And that's how the story of how we almost got murdered in Mykonos.
Murdered and or maybe accomplices TBD. We'll report back on that. But yeah, so we are now going to talk about group travel because solo travel, as you can tell from some of our experiences, maybe we'd be better off with someone guiding us who's actually an expert. And I think that's why we started group travel. But what were some of your favorite things about traveling with a group? What did you love about our trip to Bali?
All of it. Every single piece of it. I cannot tell you how magical. I mean, you were there. You know how magical it was.
I do.
I cannot express enough how magical this experience was for me. First of all, you know how terrified I was to go in the first place. I did not want to go to group travel. I don't have the temperament for it. I am like an angry cat most days. I like to do my own thing, and I need to be fed every 20 minutes. And if you get too close to me, I will scratch you. It's just my temperament.
Describing you as one of those like pissed off house cats is
I'm just going to throw your phone on
possibly the
just
most solid, accurate description of you I think I've ever heard.
I'm just an angry cat
that's,
all the time.
That's pretty spot on.
So I was worried that I wouldn't fit into the group or like it would be too much group for me. And it wasn't. I think we made smart decisions and that we didn't try to fill the day.
Yes.
There was plenty of free time. We had like mornings and there were like maybe 1 or 2 adventures every day that encompassed like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then we left everyone free to do whatever they wanted to do. And I really loved it. I keep saying I was surprised at the people that showed up and how well we got together.
Right.
But I don't know why. I mean, they follow us. They follow our page. They're following along on this humorous journey. Obviously, they share our humor.
Right.
And even though we like left so much free time, if we weren't out doing something with them, we ended up at a pool drinking, hanging out. It was like the best layover ever.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I want to go back to what you said initially
about me being an angry cat.
You went on a tangent about being an angry cat because you said something that you didn't want to go initially. And I think that's funny and also a good point because as with most of our ventures, I am very much the
planner,
the
and
instigator, the doer, the instigator. Yeah, I know. What other words can we come up with for me? But I am usually the one that's like, oh, I have this crazy idea. Want to hear it? And you're like, no, I don't know. Do I? And it's always like, it doesn't matter anyway. You're gonna make me do it. And fortunately, for the most part, it's worked out really well. But I think I felt the same way. I think traveling with like-minded people, it just sounded like too cool of an opportunity to pass up. And I was like, we give one trip a try. If it sucks, we never do it again. And we did it, and we ended up loving it. And I swear, I wasn't a fan of the group travel idea because I really was just so nervous about just so many things, all the factors of like what could go wrong, what could happen, what could come up. And I really ended up enjoying so many different factors about it. I mean, I think the fact that we got to pick our own itinerary really helped.
That helped a lot.
Because I've always signed up for other people's trips and you don't have control over that. And obviously the people that come on our trip are choosing our itinerary that we've already planned for you. But I think the thing about it
is we're
is
learning
that
them and we're getting feedback from people now too. Like the people that are
Exactly.
going, we want your feedback so we can tailor these
and
to
we've
you.
had previous people weigh in on some of our future itineraries, and that's been a really cool experience to kind of make everybody feel like they're part of it. But I think the thing about it is we want to kind of have a hybrid trip. Like we want those days where you've got activity after activity, we're engaging in things, we're immersing in local culture, we're trying new foods, we're doing all these things. But we also want people to have downtime. We want there to be downtime on the trip. We want everybody to kind of have a chance to themselves to go out and explore. Some people want to go shopping. Some people want to go to a cafe. Some people want to go wine tasting and things like that. And I love these trips because we've really like we have the kind of trip where we can have an audience of people from 20 to 70 with all different activity types, all different body types, all different ages, backgrounds, whatever. And there's something for everybody.
Yes. And you know what I loved most? You know what I found I love most about group travel or these like planned trips is that you just show up.
Yeah.
You just show up and everything's done. You walk into an event space.
Oh, is that different for you as opposed to me planning all of our adventures when everything is planned for you?
No, I mean, I still have to wait in line for tickets and I still have to wait in line to get in. And like, none of those things happened here. Like you showed up and someone handed you tickets and we're like, we're going through the special entrance and you're in. You're in for it. And it wasn't like you were spending half of the day waiting in line to go see something or to get into a museum or, you know, do you remember that day solo travel? Do you remember that day we were at the Louvre and we spent all day? We spent like 4 hours in line to see the Mona Lisa and we got like as far as the room.
I mean, the Louvre is a very amazing place, but that is one of those tourist things where you're like, I'm so glad I went, but I need to go back when no one is there.
No one.
Night at the museum
Correct.
style. Because it's just, you're just like shoulder to shoulder with people and it's a little chaotic.
But I love that part of the like planned trips is you just show up and
you get yourself
doing
there.
It. Yes.
And then it's like, okay.
You show up for dinner and tables are reserved. Right. They're like, come right in, let's have dinner.
Show up in the lobby at this time.
You had to think about nothing. You didn't even have to like order food most of the time. Like plates just appeared in front of you.
Plates of delicious food.
So delicious. Yeah. Things I wouldn't have ordered because, you know.
I know. That's so true. You go to a restaurant on a solo trip and you're like, I don't know what to order. What am I doing? But you go to some restaurant on one of these trips and you're like in somebody's house.
Like the tuna in the banana leaf that we had in Bali. I would have ordered that. It was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that because we tried so many foods and you know me, I say I'm adventurous, but I'm not. I'm picky as hell. And when it came to food, I was like, all right, I'll just eat whatever they put in front of me, even if I like it or don't like it or it doesn't look good. And I loved every bit of it. It was so good.
I remember that one meal we had the suckling pig and you were sitting over there sweating. Rich does not eat spices. Rich does not eat spices. God.
You think I'm glistening
He is like
now?
Dripping water.
I am sweating so hard in Bali. It's already humid and like really warm. And then I'm eating this spicy suckling pig.
I mean, it literally looked like he was crying out of his forehead. He was like dripping from the heat. I was proud of you. I was like,
everyone was like, are you okay? And I was like, the
Rich
food
is like,
is
it's delicious.
Oh my God. That was so much fun. Another thing I love about group travel, aside from being able to just kind of do like just show up and be part of something, is I also really love like the safety aspect of it. Like we're going to Egypt later this year and a lot of people signed up for that trip so quickly because they were saying to us, I've wanted to go there forever and I was worried about being a queer person going alone or being a woman traveling alone, and I just feel so much more safe in a group of people with an expert, trusted local guide. And that's one thing that I'm like, okay, now let's pick destinations where like people don't, need support and community and that sort of thing. And I love this because I think everyone's going to have an incredible time. Everyone's going to be supported. Everyone's going to feel together on this trip.
And truthfully, we agree with you. Particularly in Egypt, how many times have we planned and canceled a trip because we were like, is it the right time? Is it safe for us to be there? Like, should we actually go?
Yeah.
And we have no qualms this time. I mean, we're very excited to go for the safety aspect of it. So why travel with us, Rich? We have 3 trips planned now.
We do have 3 trips planned and they're going to be so much fun. And I just think that traveling, with this group of people, especially because half the people on our next few trips have already been on trips with us. So we can actually quite literally guarantee that we know these are great people. And I love it because it's like built-in friends. And I know that sounds so cliche and so cheesy. But like I said earlier, if you follow 2 Guys on a Plane and you like us enough to come on a group trip with us, you're probably funny. You probably have a great sense of humor. You're probably smart. And you probably love immersing in local culture and having a good time.
And you definitely love a good layover.
This is like the ultimate layover, and that's why you should travel with us.
And I promise I'll only maybe angry cat you. I can't promise I won't do it, but
But we do currently have 3 trips available. We have Croatia, Egypt, and Thailand, and all 3 of them are going to be amazing adventures, and we really hope you'll join us. If you want more information about these upcoming trips, please go to twoguysonaplane.com/travel and check it out. Check out the itineraries and feel free to DM us if you have any questions. We are always happy to talk about travel, and we are for sure going to do more trips, so if none of these trips work for you, stay tuned and subscribe to our email list. We will definitely let you know when our next adventure is planned. All right, and before we go, we wanted to do a quick little segment called What Would Two Guys Do? WW2GD. So this is where we read stories from you guys out loud on the podcast and then tell you what we would do in that situation. So feel free to send us your stories. We love reading them. So this one is from Tina. She's from Belgium, and she was flying to the Dominican Republic. She said, "A few years ago, I worked a flight where we had to perform CPR on a passenger while flying over the Atlantic Ocean. Yikes. The man came to us claiming he wasn't feeling well and was suffering from pressure on his chest. He eventually became unresponsive and stopped breathing, so we immediately started CPR. Flight crew was informed, and we had at least an hour to go to the nearest airport to divert. This man's wife was inconsolable, so a colleague stayed with her for comfort as we were working on her husband. Eventually, we were able to land and hand the patient over to ambulance personnel. Before they left, one of my colleagues gave her phone number to the wife, saying she would call if the doctors needed any extra information on what happened in flight. She also asked the wife that, if she was up for it, to let us know afterwards if her husband was okay. We ended up not hearing anything for a couple of weeks until she got a message from an unknown number. Well, it was the wife letting us know her husband pulled through and was released from hospital earlier that week. After some back and forth, she informed us they would try and take their trip to the Dominican Republic once again later that year, and if there was any possibility that any of us would be working that flight again. She said her husband was reluctant to get on a plane, but he would feel better if he knew, this is so sweet, I'm going to cry, if he knew that the same crew would be with them again. We discussed it with head office and were able to plan that the 3 of us on the flight that the couple was taking would be there. They came on board with 2 whole bags of gifts for us, took pictures with us, and wrote us a very emotional letter thanking us for our work on that unfortunate day. They told us all about the plans they had while on holiday. I'm definitely tearing up over here.
Yeah.
And the husband thanked us for giving him a second chance at life. I've never cried so many tears of happiness.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
That is an incredible
because we don't ever
story.
know. That is.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story, and we don't ever hear.
We don't.
That's wild.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't flight attendants, like, medical emergencies obviously are so stressful, but a lot of times whether, we get the outcome of what passenger situation on the flight or not, it's always uncertain what happens to them once they leave the aircraft and they're out of our hands.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they got this much, closure almost,
Right.
because it's so traumatic when these things happen. You don't know what happened, and that is such a beautiful story.
Such a beautiful story. Kudos to Tina and her crew
Yeah.
for taking such good care of you. And you're a better human than I am, because I would not have signed up for round 2 of that. I wouldn't have done it.
And just like, no,
Gifts or no.
We've been down this road before.
Right.
No.
No, I wouldn't have signed up for round 2. It would have been no. But kudos to you all, because that is a beautiful story. And I'm glad that you got to find out and see them again. And I really love how that story ended, because I saw that going a different way. And I was ready to be like, no.
I know. That is an amazing story. Keep sending us your stories. If you go to twoguysonaplane.com/podcast, you'll see a section where you can submit your stories about anything that happened to you on a flight, whether it was humorous or heartfelt. We want to hear it all. Keep sending us your stories. And thank you guys so much for your support. We recently started a Patreon community online, which is chock full of behind the scenes footage, early access to episodes, exclusive podcast merch, and so much more. Every bit of support that you guys can send our way means so much. We could not do this podcast without you.
Literally could not.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you guys for everything. We appreciate it. Well, friends, that's all for today. Join us next time for more humor, heart, and stories from our beverage cart. This episode was brought to you by Staff Traveler, the #1 non-rev app. If you travel on standby tickets and are looking to make your journey easy and stress-free, check out the Staff Traveler app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Visit stafftraveler.com/2guys to learn more and sign up.
An Ironic Media production. Visit us at ironickmedia.com.